I don't know, Jerry, minus 22 doesn't sound that bad right now. Hoppey was top then, right? Well, as of tonight, the C Club Hall of Fame will now feature 3 father-son combinations. Maurice and Rick Page, Ernie and Robert Lally, Bob's on our C Club board, and Robert Hoppey and our next inductee, his son Michael. Michael played, give him a round of applause, sure. We have almost 300 people in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty rare to have the father and son combinations. Well, Michael played men's lacrosse here at Cortland in the late 1970s when the program was then Division II. Division III didn't start in the NCAA for men's lacrosse until 1980. So that was a program that, again, had been Division I and then into Division II. And he was one of the top players in the program that made 4 NCAA tournaments and won the national title in 1975. More notably, it's the fact that Michael has taken his love for lacrosse, which he fostered here at Cortland, and for more than 30 years has shared that passion with numerous others. A couple of the quotes in his rec letters that kind of point that out. Mike has consistently demonstrated his dedication and commitment to the sport of lacrosse and to those student athletes who played it. Mike's ability to develop players from boys into young men, both on and off the lacrosse field, is a tribute to his dedication not only as a coach, but as an educator. I present to you for induction into the SUNY Cortland C Club Hall of Fame, Michael Hoppey, class of 1978.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the C Club Hall of Fame for this tremendous honor. Also congratulate my fellow inductees. It's very nice to get to meet a lot of you this weekend. I hope you're having as good a time as I'm having. I think it was pretty clear, oh, one last thing before I get to that. My sister Ellen, she nominated me for this, and I certainly would have done it on my own, so thank you. I wouldn't be here without you. That was great. Pretty clear from a pretty young age that there was a pretty good chance I was going to end up in Cortland. Both my parents went to Cortland. I was born in Cortland Hospital. I grew up hearing all these legendary stories about this great place, Cortland. My father tells a story that when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, I came up to him and I said, "Dad, I want to be a gym teacher." I didn't know the correct nomenclature then. Gym teacher, coach, and go to Cortland. So as I got older, it really didn't change. I still wanted to do that. The only problem was I wasn't sure whether I was going to be good enough to play here. Cortland in the 70s was a juggernaut. Great teams. In my sophomore year in high school, they were in the Division I semifinals. My junior year, they won the Division II national championship. And I didn't know if I was going to make it. And I came up my fall of my senior year in high school and met with Coach Winters. And I think Coach was not overly impressed. I was probably 5'6", 120 pounds, and looked like I was about 14 years old. But I got a little bit bigger, and I got a little bit better, and ended up coming up here in the fall of 1974, and it was great. My years at Cortland, so many great memories, so many great friends, so many outstanding times, and playing lacrosse, I mean, it was a magical time up here. The community supported lacrosse. The students supported lacrosse. Chugger Davis Field was rocking when we had a game. And really, we were one of the best teams in the country, regardless of division. We beat numerous Division I teams here. We won a national championship my first year. We didn't win another one, but we were in the running every year, and it was great. And I got to be friends with and play with so many great people. And I could be here and mention names alike, but I'll mention a few. My good friend Mark Kessner, Jerry DeMeo, Jimmy Bonaventura, and I just want to make a special mention to what my co-captain here, Jimmy Burke. Jimmy was a 3-time All-American at Cortland, and also a 3-time World Team member, which is a 12-year span. 3-time All-American here. I'm probably the most accomplished lacrosse player, maybe the most accomplished athlete in Cortland history, and I'd love for him to be able to join me here someday. But anyway, I did graduate from Cortland, and very sadly, my coaches. Chuck Winters was awesome. I can't believe he was like 28, 29 years old when he was coaching me, but he was terrific. Coach King is here tonight. It's good to see him. Coach Everins, Coach Chick, Coach Kashani. I had some great coaches, and also just an acknowledgement to Coach Bevel. They're very proud alumni, being able to watch how successful they are every year. I try to get to a game when I can, and they're consistently one of the best teams in the country, and I'm very proud of that. So I sadly left Portland, didn't want to go, but I had to. After a couple quick stops, I ended up back at my high school, my alma mater, Ward Melville High School, where I taught physical education for 32 years. And I think with my Cortland influence and the influence of my dad, I realized although I was a coach, my number one job was to be an effective phys ed teacher. And I think that's something that I'm most proud of. I think I was, I really loved my job, and I think I was good at it, and I think it showed. In addition to my teaching, I've been coaching there for 37 years. I'm still coaching. I still coach 3 junior high sports. I don't coach any varsity stuff anymore. But had an opportunity to coach a lot of great athletes, had a lot of great teams, worked with a lot of great coaches and teachers. My good friend Bob Del Rosso is here today. We coached football and lacrosse together. He's also a Cortland grad. And then it kind of ended in a really nice way. My last year coaching varsity lacrosse, 2013. My last game I ever coached at the varsity level. We won the New York State Championship, and we were voted unanimously the #1 team in the United States for that year. So it was really nice. So, I'd like to just talk a little bit about my family who's here tonight. I have a great family, and my brothers and sisters are all here tonight. My 2 sons were not able to make it, but my wonderful daughter Maggie and her husband Byron are here today. A couple of Cortland grads, my sister Ellen and her husband Fran, their son Joseph, who's also a Cortland grad and physical education teacher. My sister Sharon, her husband Jimmy. My sister Kathy and her husband Larry. Kathy is also a Cortland grad. My brother Timmy, who was a Hobart guy, and actually was on the winning side of 2 national championships against Cortland. But he was kind of an honorary Cortland guy. He used to spend so much time down here with me. A lot of people thought he went to Cortland, so it was good that way. And his wife Ellen, and Kathy and her husband Larry. And on another note, just to close out, 3 members of my family that I love and are very close to were not able to be here and are no longer with us, and I just wanted to acknowledge them. My nephew Patrick died this summer after a long battle with cancer. Patrick was a New York City EMT. He was a musician, one of the finest young men you'll ever meet. He was never really able to play sports because of all the illnesses he was battling growing up. But he was the toughest, bravest, most courageous person I know, and we'll always miss him and we'll always love him. My mom was a Cortland grad, and she died way too young. She loved her time in Cortland too. She was my #1 fan. She saw me play more lacrosse than anybody. My dad was always coaching, so she was always traveling around watching. 5 kids before the age of 29, full-time teacher, 7 people in 1 bathroom in a little house, and somehow she kept it all together. She was amazing, and we really miss her. And then finally I finish up with my dad, and a lot of you know my dad. I talked to a lot of people today that knew him and had stories about him, and my dad was a storyteller. And the stories from Cortland, the meeting in the office with Chuck Davis, the incident at Dom's, the regatta, and on and on and on. But he loved his time in Cortland. He came up here and played 4 years of varsity football, was a 2-year Red Letter winner, never played lacrosse at all until he got up here, and ended up playing varsity for 3 years just to stay in shape for football, and ended up becoming one of the top lacrosse coaches on Long Island. And the best part of the whole evening is to be able to be inducted with him. So thank you all for sharing this with me tonight. Good night.